That's what we're going to be talking about today, how to grow your personal brand and get more customers. Because the number of people who know you translates to building your personal brand, and it translates into building your business brand, and it translates into you being able to sell more products and services. And then finally, when people think of a problem, they know you are the solution. When you think about the people you follow online, I mean, some of the social media gurus that you follow, in whatever area, it's because they are constantly putting out content. They are constantly present. You go to Facebook, you find them. You go to Instagram, you find them. You go to LinkedIn, you find them. These are people who have managed to build their personal brand. And one way that you can be able to do this, because we are talking about how do you grow your personal brand so that you can sell more and get more customers. We also know that people buy from people they know, people they like, and people they trust. So how do you increase the number of people who know you so that you end up with more people who trust you? Because when they trust you, they'll buy from you. That's the premise of our talk today. And so the idea is to grow your people. Let's say you had 1 million people who knew you. And out of that 1 million people, 100,000 liked you. And out of that, 10,000 trusted you. Then those 10,000 will buy from you. Even if you're selling a $5 product, that is $50,000. And the more you sell products that are high level, then the more people you get. So we are going to look at some mistakes that people make with their personal brand so that we can be able to avoid those. And the first mistake is the wrong content. When people put out content, and this is what not to do. Don't create content with the intention to sell your content. That's later. You can sell it later. But first, if you're trying to build your personal brand, let's say you're giving. You provide information that is going to be helpful to people. So the second thing is don't send out boring information or content that is not fun, or it's not valuable, educational, or you're just sending out information that is you bragging and building your own ego, or you being rude or judgmental, or and one that looks unprofessional. So don't avoid those mistakes when you're creating content, because I'm going to show you how we are going to create good content. The second mistake people make with their personal brand is that they don't have a proven blueprint. And we are looking at the 4 stages of personal branding. There's a lot of ways you can build yourself. First of all, you can develop your personal brand. You can launch your personal brand. You can monetize your personal brand. And then you can scale your personal brand. So that's a blueprint, yeah? So we are going to talk about how to create that blueprint for your personal brand. The third mistake that people make with their personal brand is that they don't have an audience flow or funnel. You've heard me talk about funnels before, and the funnel really is just the customer journey, yeah? So we start off with, let's say you are creating content. And when I say content, is like you have a blog post, you have a podcast, you have a radio show like you do. You have a post you're sending on Facebook and pictures you're sending on Instagram and, MP3 and YouTube, yeah? So you're sending out to all these channels and you have information that is going to be helpful to people. It doesn't matter what your information is. It could be what you like, which is, let's say, reviewing movies or maybe reviewing antiques like we talked about last week. So you're putting information about that. So then you have that content, and then that content, it goes to a lead. You first have leads coming to you, and then you go to the awareness stage, we go to the generation stage, you go to the nurturing stage, you go to the qualification stage, conversion, and then indoctrination, and finally people will buy. I mean, if you have a process for people to be able to get in from Facebook, let's say you have a Facebook post, and you're posting that, and in the first Facebook post, you say, hey, if you'd like to get the PDF checklist of this video, click here and give me your email. Yeah. So when people give you their email, then you're able to follow up, because all the time you're trying to put people actually into your email list. You're trying to build your email list, because that is a list you own. You know, if you, like we've said in the past, if you had, like, say, 1 million people following you on Facebook, and today Facebook decides they don't like you for one thing or another, they can close you out. Yeah. They can kick you out. Yeah. They can kick you out like they've done for some people, and you can lose those millions of followers. But if those people are on your email list, then they are your people. You don't lose them. Yeah. And you can continue to market to them. And the fourth mistakes that people do is in their personal branding is that no one knows you. Yeah. You see, there's a lot of people who say, oh, I don't want to get on video. I don't like video. And yet you say you're a business person. I don't like putting myself out there. And yet you say you're a business person. Yeah. So how do people get to know you if you are hiding behind the computer? You know, in the past, people could hide behind the computer. Yeah. And they would get away with it. All you did before in the past is build a website, and then you are there behind the computer. You're just sending out information. But today, people want to see the people they are connecting with. They want to see people who they are buying from. They want to see people. So if you're a business, let's say you are on Main Street and you have a physical location business, and you're selling, let's say, marasada. So you're selling marasadas. There are people who want to know, how do you prepare those marasadas without giving away the store? Yeah. What kind of marasadas do you have? What varieties do you have? What flavors do you have? You know, you can put out little videos about that. You can put out videos of saying, hey, I'm buying the ingredients for making your best marasada today. Yeah. And so, by the way, and then you say, by the way, today we have a 5% off. Here's a coupon. Give me your email and I'll send you the coupon. Yeah. So you start selling so it doesn't matter whether you're selling a physical good or you're selling a digital product. You got to be out there talking to people. So people need to know you. Yeah. So first, create content first and serve people before you sell them anything. You create your personal brand faster that way. You know, people will know you and trust you and buy from you more the more they know you, the more they see you. I know for some of the gurus that I follow online, you know, people like Brendon Burchard that I had talked about in the past, I started following him and I could see every day, almost every day, he was sending out something, some information that was helpful to me as a business person. So when you know those people who you follow, so every time you go to YouTube, you start looking for those people who you know. You know, you type their name so that you see the content they have uploaded the last time you were there. So we are going to look at the types of content you can create, because we're talking about how do you grow your brand? How do you become known? You know, you can do like 60-second videos, because, you know, people on Facebook they don't like long videos. Yeah. Unless they know you very well. If you're a well-known person, yes, they can watch, you know, a longer video. But if you put just 60-second videos, that'll be good enough. You can do interviews. So you put them out on those channels. You can do interviews. You can find people who are well-known and ask them, can I interview you? Because then you get borrowed authority. Because if somebody is well known and you know some personality here, we know a lot of musicians here in Maui. So if you did an interview with one of them, then their followers will know that you are doing the interview, and then those followers might also start following you. Yeah. You can do how-to videos. You know, like right now, you know, I teach gardening, so I can have how-to videos, how to fertilize your garden, how to take a soil test, how to control your garden pest. Yeah. So you can do how-to videos in your area of expertise, wherever you are. You could be a life coach. You do a video. You could be an exercise person. You show people simple exercises for their back or whatever. So gardening, of course, many people love to see that. They want to be, actually people love more demonstration than even you telling them this is how to do it. They want to see you do it. Yeah. You can do swipe files and checklists and cheat sheets. Those ones are just, you look for information. There's a lot of ways you can find information on YouTube, on Instagram, on other channels, and you can make a summary of a checklist of, let's say, this is the easiest way for decluttering. That's a checklist, a 5-step process for decluttering your house. So that could be, yeah, you could do blogs, you could do guest features on publications, you could look at some of the big magazines and summarize what they're talking about. You could do storytelling videos. You know, there are people love stories. People like to listen to stories. You educate and you entertain them. Yeah. So you can see how, you know, how many times do you ever listen to somebody on YouTube saying, this is how we met? You know, if you go online and you look at those people, this is how we met. So you listen to them because they're telling stories. Yeah. You can summarize chapters of best-selling books. You know, most books, they have several chapters. So you can look at a best-selling book, you buy one, and you look at the chapters, and each of those chapters actually can become a video or a blog or a podcast. You just give credit to the person you're writing it in your own words, so you're not plagiarizing, but then you let the people know, you know, that is content. You can find content like that. You can do hot seat Q&A, video trainings. You can interview people, and then you get, you know, on Zoom nowadays, it's the easiest way to do that. You can do speaker reel highlights. You know, you can do like highlights of your speaking engagements that you did in the past. Let's say you had a conference and then you took segments of that, and then you can do, you know, bits and pieces of 5-minute segments of that video, and you can always be sending it out. Because people are always saying, how do I create content? And those are the ideas we are sharing, because we said, once you create content, you become known. And when you become known, people get to like and trust you, and then they buy from you. Yeah? So that is the simple formula. So you create infographics to share on your expertise. You can do that. You've seen infographics, those beautiful arranged informational outlines. Like, for instance, the problem you solve. What is the problem you solve? Like I said, if I'm a gardener or a digital marketer, I want to help somebody create their business in a box. And I can say, this is how I help you create your business in a box. Let's start with your website. Let's start with your personal branding. Let's start with your video creation. So there are so many ways. So let's say I am teaching about gardening and overcoming the challenges in gardening. So I can say the first topic is probably about your soils. The second topic is about preparing your beds, your vegetable bed. The third topic is probably how to fertilize. The fourth topic is about how to prune. So you can have an infographic with those topic 1, 2, 3, 4, and each of those topics actually can branch out. Like if you can say pruning, how to prune a fruit tree, how to prune a shrub, how to prune a tree. So each of those topics, it could be pruning, soils, fertilizers, pests, and so the infographic depends on your expertise. So if, let's say, you're a person who is teaching people about your mental meditation, you know, there's a lot of people who teach meditation, you know, how yoga, yeah? So you can have an infographic about your expertise, and then you can showcase that and send it to people. People love those quick tips. They look at it and they can tell right away what to do, yeah? So when it gets to getting known by more people, it's about, you can do 2 ways how to get known. Your personal branding can be, you're creating broad content. And the broad content is reaching a lot of people. So you can do either broad content versus you can do content that is specific to your niche. So let me give you your industry expert. So let's say your niche is about personal coaching. Yeah? You're a personal coach for women, for stay-at-home women. Yeah? Mothers. So you're a personal coach for stay-at-home mothers. So let's say that's your niche. But then you also have the broad content that you can create, you know, like when you go on Facebook on your personal profile, you can say, hey, yesterday I was swimming and I saw these big dolphins. Or yesterday, and you can take a picture of you. Yeah, that's just being personal. Or I went for vacation to this location, which was absolutely marvelous, and you can show pictures of that. Or you can show a beautiful sunset that so you are giving just broad content. Yeah, that's broad content, because broad content will appeal to a lot more people. It doesn't necessarily have to mean it's the women, the stay-at-home moms who want to start their own business. That's your niche. But then on the other hand, you can start now creating content that is specific to your niche. So you can say, and that is niche content. So you can say, I'm going to be speaking about stay-at-home moms who want to become entrepreneurs. And this is how you do it. So you can talk to those specifically and say, this is how you create your videos as a stay-at-home mom. This is the topics you could talk about as a stay-at-home mom. So there is those two things you can do. So when you're creating content, you can mix it up. Part of your content is the broad content that you're sending out so that more people get to know you. The other piece is your niche content. And the niche content is the one that people actually, you're sharing your expertise, and this is the one people will buy from you. So you share it. And then now, if you're thinking, I don't really want to be on social media, I just mentioned to you that you can do a lot of the content without necessarily getting, face to face on social media, but eventually you'll need to. You need to be able to get out there because everyone can document their lives. That's your content. And then you can talk about the lessons learned. So let's look at the 4 stages of how you brand yourself. You need to develop your personal brand by 1, getting clear on your niche and your audience. Who is the people you serve? Yeah? Knowing how to be perceived and figuring out the problems you want to solve. Like I said, if I'm talking about gardening, I know the problems I want to solve. If I'm talking about digital marketing, then I know the problems that need to be solved. That is, most entrepreneurs want to know, how do I get more customers? So that is a problem I can help them solve. Yeah? So that is stage 1, develop your personal brand. The second step is you need to launch your personal brand by, first of all, identifying where your audience is online. Like, are they on Facebook? Are they on Twitter? Are they on YouTube? Yeah? So that you know what platforms you're going to reach them on. And then you decide if you're going to buy, borrow, or create your traffic organically. We've talked about how you can buy Facebook ads, yeah, so that you can talk about your product and it reaches more people. You can boost some of your posts to just test the waters. You can also do podcasts with well-known people or do a radio interview with well-known people, because then that way you build upon their own audience. It's borrowed audience, but they become your audience eventually. The third step of how to brand yourself is you need to monetize your personal brand by having a strong, irresistible offer people want to buy. So you need to be also, of course, thinking about, if you're a broke coach, you're not gonna help anybody. You still need to monetize what you know. You need to be able to take people through a model where they are paying you. Let's say they start by paying you a little money, then eventually you give them more services, they pay you more money. So you are ascending them so that they get to pay you through the value ladder. And then you need to start optimizing your audience through your sales funnel. We've talked about the sales funnel where you have your leads, which is the first step. These are people who are just coming into your ecosystem. They saw you on Facebook, they've started following you. And then they become prospects. These are people who may buy from you because they're starting to evaluate you. And then lastly, they become customers when they buy from you. So you're looking at how do you monetize that brand. And then lastly, the 4th stage of you creating your personal brand is you need to be able to scale your personal brand by either systemizing and outsourcing everything. Your automatic. You remember I said the websites I help entrepreneurs create, they are automated. So that when somebody lands on your website, they can click on a link that you're giving something for free, which we call the freebie. And then they can end up in your email autoresponder system, which is all automated. And you can start now nurturing them as a customer. Yeah. So you also need to find a team. As you start growing more, you need to start delegating, outsourcing. You have people who will do things that will take you time, but they don't, you can pay somebody, let's say $15 an hour to do, let's say, your graphics, instead of you sitting down as an entrepreneur to create graphics. Yeah. So you outsource so that you save time. And then knowing your numbers and your scale so this is where the magic happens. Sometimes you create content marketing. There is also direct response marketing. The content marketing is where you're just creating content. You're able to create blogs, and you're writing Facebook ads, and you're writing maybe you're writing a Facebook post, and of course YouTube videos, Instagram. So you're going out and you're showing people that you know what it is that you're talking about. And then when you also combine that with direct response marketing, which is where you're saying to people, hey, if you like this post about this strategy, I have more that you can also access. I have more videos on the same topic. And if you click on this link or this button and give me your email, I'll be able to send it to you. And so, of course, you also can do the easiest way. You can build your audience on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, etc., and get them into your email list first. It's like when you think about fishing, when you're a fisherman or you're going out to fish, you come with a bait and you agitate the water. You put in some things that will make the fish come to you. And then you use a net, and of course, you pick up the fish. So the first step you did, which is you go fishing and you put in something that will bring the fish to you, that is your free content strategy. You're providing blogs, you're providing videos, you have information that is going to be helpful to people. And then the second step, of course, is where you now have a lead magnet, where you are telling people, hey, put your name here, and I'll send you a checklist of this information. I'll send you a PDF of this information. I'll send you a video. That's like you putting people in a net, is fish in a net. And then the third step is, of course, you nurture the nurturing sequence to your irresistible offer. Because what you want to do is, once people become your on your list, they come to your email list, then you start nurturing them. You start being able to give them more content that is going to help them, being able to let them get to know you more. And then finally, you have your irresistible offer, something that is going to be solving a problem they have, an urgent problem that only you can be able to solve, that they know you, they trust you, and of course, they'll buy from you. Now, entrepreneurs fail because no one knows them. They don't know who you are. Most entrepreneurs are scared of going online. They still want to make business, but they don't want to get online. So one of the things we have said is, how sometimes, it's not what you know, it's who you know. That's a common saying. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Of course, we go and rely on the power of other people. You have referrals from people who are trusted by their followers. But the best way is who knows you. In personal branding, we are answering that question. Who knows you? Who knows your brand is exponential. Millions can come to know you. You may not know all the millions, but the millions can come to know you when you put together your content, you're branding yourself. If you have a product or a service that can help people, that is what you need. So, who knows you is a question you answer when you go online, when you start posting on various places, whether, like I said, the platform of your choice, it's where your customers are. Maybe they're on Facebook or Twitter or WhatsApp. Maybe they're on LinkedIn or YouTube. So you go to where they are, and the more people who knows you, the better for you. Because your financial success is in proportion to how many people know, like, and trust you. So let's say you had 1,000 people who knew you, and only 100 liked you, and 10 trusted you. Those 10 are the ones who will buy from you. If they know you, if they trust you, they will buy from you. So how do you get more people to trust you? You want to have more exposure. You want to be able to get out there, and let's say you have 1 million people who know you, 100,000 who like you, and 10,000 trust you. Then, of course, you increase your sales. You increase the number of customers that come into your ecosystem. If more people know you, then more people will trust you and buy from you. And that's where personal branding comes in. What you've been talking about, creating content that is going to increase and enhance your personal branding. So you make more money when people know, like, and trust you. So you build your personal brand. They know you by you're being omnipresent. You're going out everywhere. You're on Facebook. You post, let's say, The same content you post on Facebook goes to Twitter, it goes to Instagram, it goes to Pinterest, maybe it goes to Facebook, and it goes to YouTube and LinkedIn. So you are everywhere. But you can find a strategy to do that so that you're not reposting and posting and reposting. You just post once. It goes to all those channels. And then the more people will like you, you've helped them in some way. You have found solutions to their problem based on your expertise. And then the people will trust you. You have influence. When people trust you, you have influence. So there is actual science behind the power of building your personal brand and getting well known. Because we say the more exposure, the more people will get to know you. So if you're talking about the exposure effect, the mere exposure effect is a psychological phenomenon by which people tend to develop a preference for things they are familiar with. So the more people, like I said, the gurus you follow online is because you keep tending to see them. You see those entrepreneurs every once in a while. They are always there online. When people think of a problem and they're seeking a solution, they'll reach out to you. They know you. And that's why you find the big brands, like McDonald's or Nike or Amazon. When you think of something, like if you're thinking about where to get a drink, a pop, you think of Coca-Cola. You think of a hamburger, you think of McDonald's. So the exposure, of course, is huge. But also there are those entrepreneurs, like the gurus that we know, Tony Robbins of this world. When you think about personal development, you think of Tony Robbins. People like Oprah became known because of her exposure those early days. And she got online many, many years before even that was a thing. And because every time you switched on your TV, you saw her. And then, of course, now she has branched out more. So you want to be able to have that personal exposure. Because we say the more people the more you can make more money. If we give an example of, let's say, 1 million people saw your content, they are following you, they start trusting you, about 500 of those people buy your $20 product, that's a $10,000 in your account. If 500 people buy your $200 product, that's about $100,000 in your account. So the more people, even if it's 1% of the people who know you, when they see your content, they'll buy from you because they trust you. Let's say you're selling a high ticket offer. Then you have 1 million people who see your content. You only 2 people buy from you at a $5,000 price tag. Then that's $10,000 in your account. And of course, if 20 people buy, that's $100,000 in your bank account. So the more people who see you, the more you can make money. And that's why I talked about the power of personal branding. It's really important that you start thinking about, how do I create content that is going to connect with the people that I know and the people that I can reach. The more I can reach them. And you stop being, worried too much about what do people say, What do people say is not really very relevant, because people will always say, they'll have an opinion. Everybody has an opinion. But it's for you to decide, do I want to grow my business? And if I do, what do I need to do? And if all you need to do is just put together good information that is helpful to people, then for sure you're going to grow your brand and you're going to be able to sell more. Thank you so much. This is Anne Gachu here again. If you'd like to sign up for our free 30-minute session that helps you be able to learn more. If you have questions, of course, we'll be happy to help you answer those questions. So get on the link below, which is the calendar booking for 30 minutes of a free session. So we can talk more about your business, or even how to create your personal brand, how to build up your personal brand, and how to create content that is helpful to the people that are more likely going to follow you. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon. Bye. This is Anne.